So my weekend just keeps on rocking and a rolling because in literally 12 hours, I will be going to see a pay-per-view provided by both AEW and New Japan Pro Wrestling. My name is Daniel Strunk. This is QuickTime Reactions, and these are my predictions for AEW's Forbidden Door pay-per-view. I'm very much looking forward to this show. Forbidden Doors, I think, probably the most fun AEW pay-per-view that they have all year. And like I said, the matches are going to be really, really cool. Now, I am going to talk about the 0 hour matches that they announced. I'm not going to give out any predictions for those because they're pre-show matches. They don't necessarily count towards the main show card. But we do have on the 0 hour Paragon, which is Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, El Desperado and Yuya Amura, taking on Crew, Action Andretti and Leo Rush, and the Don Callis family, which is Hedricero and Josh Alexander. That ought to be a really good match. In trios action, we have Jet Speed, Kevin Knight, and Speedball Mike Bailey, and Michael Oku versus Gates of Agony and Ricochet. In 8-woman tag action, we have Triangle of Madness, which is Julia Hart, Sky Blue, and Tekla, and Megan Bayne, versus Harley Cameron, Chris Statlander, Queen Aminata, and Willow Nightingale. And the final pre-show match, which will probably be the main event, for the AEW Trios titles. The Ops, Shibata, Hobbs, and Samoa Joe take on the War Dogs, Clark Connors, Drilla Maloney, and Robbie X, which ought to be a really good, fun match. Now, on to the main show card. Starting things off with the Unified Championship match that we have. Kazuchika Okada taking on Swerve Strickland. This is going to be a really, really fun match, and it's going to be a really good match because Okada and Swerve are two of, I think, the best workers that AEW has on their roster right now in terms of like singles guys. And this is going to be, like I said, a really, really good match. If I had to pick who is going to win this match, I'm thinking it's going to be Okada. Because I think I might have heard somewhere that Swerve may be taking some time off after this show. So I'm thinking that Okada will probably end up retaining his Unified Championship. Moving on to the women's title match. This came about because Athena is cashing in her contract that she won after winning the Casino Gauntlet match. Timeless Toni Storm versus Athena. This ought to be really, really good, considering the fact that Athena has been the ever indomitable women's champ in ROH, and Timeless Toni Storm is absolutely on a roll, and she beat Mercedesmone at All In. This is going to be a really tough call to determine who is going to win in this instance. But if I were to hazard a guess, I am thinking it is going to be Athena who's going to win this. And the only reason why I'm going to say that it is going to be Athena is because maybe some point down the line they will run back Mercedesmone versus Athena. Because we got that in the Owen Hart tournament where Monet won. They may run it back, but with a slightly different result. They might do that in the future, which is why I have Athena winning this match. And speaking of which, we head to the TBS title match. Mercedesmone going up against Alex Windsor, Persephone, who's representing CMLL, and Bozilla, who is representing Stardom. This is going to be a really good showcase match for the three challengers. More so, I think, for Persephone and Bozilla, who are coming in from other companies, obviously. And this ought to be like a really good match between all four of them. I think in the end, though, I think Mercedesmone will end up retaining that TBS title, which, again, I think will lead into her challenging Athena for both of her titles. But yeah, I'm thinking Mercedesmone is going to retain the TBS title. In our TNT title match, we have Kyle Fletcher taking on New Japan's Hiromu Takahashi. This, I think, is going to be balls to the walls insane because both guys, especially Takahashi, are not afraid to just put their own body on the line for our entertainment, which is both awesome and scary at the same time. I think in the end, though, I'm thinking Fletcher's going to retain the TNT title. I mean, it'd be really cool if Takahashi won it, but I'm going to assume that Fletcher will be able to hold on to his championship for a little while longer. What is going to be probably the most interesting match of the night? Hurt Syndicate are defending their AEW World Tag Team title matches in an elimination match against Brodito and FTR. I didn't know that they actually made it an elimination match, which makes it very interesting. Because I thought it was going to be a straight out and out triple threat. But no, it's actually an elimination match. Of course, Brodito and FTR. Brodito, by the way, Bandito and Brody King. They got this opportunity by ending up drawing in the tag title tournament that AEW hosted. I think this will be very interesting because Hurt Syndicate are definitely, the power-based team. FTR, the technical-based team. And then Brodito is a combination of strength and speed. So that ought to be a really good dynamic play between all three teams in the matchup. In the end, though, I'm going to say that FTR are going to end up with the tag team championships. Because I think what may end up happening is that Hurt Syndicate may get counted out. And then, because I don't think they'll pin Hurt Syndicate. I don't think they'll do that quite yet. But I think they might be the first team out by count out. And then it'll just be Brodito and FTR, and then FTR will pin whoever to win the tag team championships. So like they didn't pin Hurt Syndicate, but they still got the belts off of them. I think that's probably what's going to end up happening. In a bit of a grudge match, we have Adam Copeland and Christian Cage taking on Kip Sabian, and it was going to be Nick Wayne, but on Dynamite, Nick Wayne revealed his replacement, which is Kill Switch, aka Luchasaurus. He is now back in the company, and it's so happy to see him back. And also good to know that he is doing well after his battle with double pneumonia in his lungs. I'm so glad that he is back and ready to perform. And this ought to be a really interesting tag match between the two of them, or between all four of these guys. Of course, it is Christian and Cope's first kind of tag match since really the 2000s. So it ought to be very interesting to see kind of what happens in this match. But I'm thinking that Cope and Christian are going to be able to get along, and they are going to beat Kill Switch and Kip Sabian. I mean, why do you think Kip Sabian is in the match? Just so that Cope and Christian can have somebody to pin. Because they're not pinning Kill Switch. That's for sure. So I'm thinking Cope and Christian they're going to win it. In my pick for what is going to be the match of the night, Zack Sabre Jr. is defending his IWGP Heavyweight title against Nigel McGuinness. Both of these guys are from the UK, and it's for a really prestigious championship. And like I said, really excited for this. Sabre Jr., of course, being known as a guy that's going to tie you up in many ways and make you tap out. And Nigel is Nigel, having so many classics. And like I said, this is probably going to be match of the night for me. But I do believe that Mr. Zack Sabre Jr. is going to retain his IWGP Heavyweight Championship in this matchup. From one world title, we go to the next one as Hangman Adam Page defends against MJF. Now, in the beginning, Page actually tricked MJF into making sure that he got this title match through his contract that he earned in the Casino Gauntlet match. However, MJF kidnapped Mark Briscoe and threatened to set him on fire if Page didn't agree to his demands, being that Page can lose the title via countout, disqualification, and the match can happen if Max doesn't use his contract. So Max's contract is safe, and if Page is counted out or DQ'd, he will lose the championship. It seems as though like the deck is stacked against Hangman in this instance. I am going to say that Hangman is going to end up walking out of the O2 in London, still the AEW World Championship. As much as I would like MJF to win back the championship, I think they're going to still hold on to Page as champion for just a little while longer. And that's the end of the show right there. But I do believe that there is just like maybe one more match on the card, even though it's unsanctioned by the company, but I'll talk about it anyway. It's a lights out steel cage match as the Death Riders, Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli, Gabe Kidd, and the Young Bucks take on the Golden Lovers, Kenny Omega and Kotaibushi, Darbyallin, Will Ospreay, and Hiroshitanahashi. So many guys, so many talented guys, and so many big name stars in this matchup in a lights out steel cage match. I am expecting blood. I am expecting violence. I am expecting spots galore in this matchup, and it's going to be all out insanity. It's going to be crazy. And I'm assuming that not everybody in this match is going to be walking out okay at the end of it. But in the end, I think I'm going to give the leg up. I'm going to give the leg up to the heels in this instance. Because I think Will said that he, in kayfabe, this is a lights out match because he can't get medically cleared to wrestle at Forbidden Door, which is hence why it's lights out. In reality, he is actually putting off, like taking time off to rest up from his injuries to do this match at Forbidden Door. Tanahashi is like, he's in his retirement year, so he's like, he's on his last legs, and Kotaibushi's not, the Kotaibushi of old. And Kenny Omega, of course, had his problems with, diverticulitis and the like. So, you know, everybody on like the babyface side at least has a target on him, to say the least. And I think Death Riders and Gabe Kidd and the Young Bucks, I think they're gonna exploit that to the nth degree in this matchup. Not to say the baby faces won't have, time to shine, because they will. They will have time to shine. But I'm just thinking that Mox will either have, like, maybe Darby pass out in the Bulldog choke, because I see this, the heels winning, and then Moxley pivoting into his feud with Darby, heading into like All Out, Wrestle Dream, basically Mox's feud for the end of, till the end of the year, essentially, is going to be him and Darby, with Darby like getting the win and basically getting the endorsement from Mox at the end. Maybe Mox turning babyface and disbanding the Death Riders by the end of the year, maybe. But that's kind of what I see as kind of the pivot point, or the nice segue for a couple of the guys in the matchup. So yeah, I have the heels winning the lights out cage match. And there you go. That is a complete rundown of the Forbidden Door card and my predictions as to what I think the results are going to be on the show. It's going to be a busy day tomorrow, and I'll be able to get out my review as soon as I possibly can after the show has ended, and I'm looking forward to watching it tomorrow. Be safe out there, and I will see you guys next time.